Ladies and gentlemen, in my humble opinion, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say the Nintendo Switch is at the end of its life cycle. I'm guessing by the end of this year, we're at least gonna get the name or the concept of the next Nintendo console. And it got me thinking, man, Nintendo has had a pretty crazy run of consoles. So in today's video, I thought it would be fun to rank all the Nintendo consoles from best to worst. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. My name is Robot Joe. Let's go ahead and get started. I guess I would fall under that category of a Nintendo fan. You know, I have the Switch OLED, the regular Switch, I have the OG DS, the DSi, Game Boy Color, Game & Watch, and in the mail right now I have a Switch Lite coming and a DS Lite. And out in the front room I have a GameCube. I love Nintendo. It's just always been that way. I think Pokemon Yellow was the first game I ever beat by myself, and Ocarina of Time on Nintendo 64 was the game that solidified me as a Nintendo fan. But looking back, Nintendo has had some pretty wacky stuff. Some were success, some not so much, so let's rank them together. I want to start with the Switch because the Switch is S tier. There's no other way to say it. It is Nintendo's golden child, and it has solidified Nintendo moving forward as the powerhouse. The Switch Lite, you could hate me for this. It is cool, but it's not really a Switch if it doesn't switch. You know what I mean? And not being able to buy new Joy-Cons when you get Joy-Con drift and having to replace them kind of hinders the whole thing. The OG Game Boy, I'm putting it C tier for a couple of reasons. One, the batteries, they ran out so fast. And going back and playing this, I played one recently, it is atrocious. It does not hold up at all. You can barely even see the screen. It's like that green grayish, whatever. Not a fan. So another thing, you could hate me for this. I'm gonna put this beginning of C tier. Game Boy Color, one of my most prized things ever. Like I said, I have one over there. I literally was playing it last night. It is awesome. I probably played 50 million hours of Pokemon games on it. For my 8th birthday, I got a yellow Game Boy Color and Pokemon Yellow. It just doesn't hold up. Having a non-backlit screen, it really sucks. I remember driving with my family, like in the car at night and like waiting for like a street light, like, oh, I can play 10 seconds. All right, oh man, I gotta wait. I did have the little like light extension, like the little book reading light that would go for it. It doesn't hold up. Game Boy Advance, I'm putting it in the B tier. It does not have a backlight. You can play Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy Color games, so it gets some points for that, but it is what it is. Now, the best of all of them, Game Boy Advance SP. Game Boy Advance SP, such an amazing design. I do have a theory that we might have a foldable Switch moving forward, like the next console, something you can fold. Joy-Cons can still slide off and on, maybe with a bottom screen or something. Just a guess, but it would be a cool concept. But yeah, Game Boy Advance SP, such a great console, still holds up so well today. The Game & Watch, the OG one, F tier. Super boring. A cool collector's item, they're insanely boring. Let's go to the first Nintendo console ever. I believe it's called like Nintendo Color TV game or TV game or something like that. I don't know much about it, but it didn't catch on. It's gotta be D tier. You know what I mean? It's cool, so I won't give it F tier, but what about the Virtual Boy? It's going D tier. Again, a cool concept, it just doesn't make sense. It was Nintendo trying to step out like they always do, try to be the wacky company. I've never played one, so I'm not gonna give it F tier. It's gotta be D tier. The Nintendo Wii, I'm gonna give it B off the strength of it being innovative. Going back and playing it, I bought a Wii last year, tried to play it, it was horrible. The motion control was not great, the graphics were not cool. I do like the Wii home menu though, that's that little song when you're like walking around with the Mii's. That slaps. Very cool concept, does not hold up. My favorite Nintendo console of all time, the GameCube. Super Mario Sunshine, my favorite Mario game. The Wind Waker, my favorite Zelda game. Yeah, the GameCube, dude. It was the only console I ever got brand new, because everything I've ever got was from like a pawn shop or secondhand somewhere. I remember on Black Friday, me and my mom going to like Kmart, I think, and I got a GameCube for like $100, with that little Zelda disc that had like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and a demo of Wind Waker. Yeah, great console. N64, I want to put it A, but the graphics are not great. It doesn't hold up great, but it still does slap. And you know what, strictly off having like 4-player, playing like WWE wrestling, GoldenEye, Smash Brothers, all that stuff, A tier. Even playing Mario Party, those memories alone, yes. The OG DS, C tier. Cool concept. I have the exact one right here. It's cool. God, does it feel like a piece of shit when you're holding it. The screen is very dim. It just feels like a prototype almost. Obviously, if they had this idea and they came with a DSi or DS Lite right after, they should have just waited. It is what it is, right? So the actual DS, the DS does slap, dude. I'm strictly getting one. I just bought 5 Pokemon games. I bought Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, and Fire Green, and I want to play them. So I bought the DS Lite strictly to play them on. I think it's the DS, I believe, is Nintendo's best-selling console. I'm not sure. There's a reason why. Every human on Earth, I feel like, had a DS, and now it kind of feels like that way with the Switch. Wii U, I never even played one, if you can believe it. Never played a Wii U. I do think the concept is awesome. I feel like it's a prototype for the Switch. I feel like it was a great console that just not a lot of people had. I wanted to get one strictly for some of the games on the eShop, but now that's closed down, so there's no point in me having one. Let's see, we have the 3DS. We'll go right here. 3DS is cool. I need to get one. I want to play some games that came out for it, like some of the Pokemon stuff. But I heard that a lot of people don't enjoy the 3DS aspect, so then they made the 2DS. It's like the ugliest freaking thing, in my opinion. I hate how it looks, but it does what it needs to do, right? Super Nintendo, S tier for me, man. I love the Super Nintendo. I like the GameCube better than the Super Nintendo, but Super Nintendo games hold up better, in my opinion. Don't shoot me. More games I enjoy and the console itself are on the GameCube. I hold the GameCube higher on this pedestal, but I think the graphics, like the Marios and the Zelda, everything, dude, that was on the Super Nintendo, they hold up so well. Just because it's that style of graphics, like 8-bit or 16-bit, like that stuff holds up so freaking good. Just the sprite characters, it's perfect. I do think the GameCube is better. It is my favorite Nintendo console, but I just think Super Nintendo holds up the best. Let's see, the original NES. It's going bottom of B tier. You know, this is what a lot of people started gaming on. I remember playing Mario when I was a little kid at like family member's house and being like, dude, when you lose all your lives, you have to start all over. It turns out people like a couple years ago found out if you just press something in the game over menu, you can continue or something like that. It was fun. The games don't hold up as good as Super Nintendo games, but still a great console. The 2DS XL. What the hell? I guess it's just a 3DS, but no 3D. This is a better looking version of the 2DS, so it's gonna go there. And then I don't know what this is. Another 3DS. I can just go in here as well. As you can see, my brain works in mysterious ways. And what I've done is I've made a middle finger right here. A big F you to anybody who doesn't agree with this tier list. Guys, what do you think? I could have made a tier list where I'm like, Switch is number 1, GameCube number 1, this stuff's number 1. That's just, everybody would have the same opinion. I like to think a little differently. Maybe I don't even agree with this list myself. I don't know. Who am I kidding? But this is what we're left with. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your favorite Nintendo console. What would you change about this? I would love to hear it. Guys, if you enjoy gaming news, gaming stories, and Nintendo Switch content, then remember, you guys are in the right place. And why don't you hit a like and subscribe on the way out, because it would truly help me out. You guys know me. I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.